So we're here at a very cold and wet and windy Donington Park for this year's Porsche Carrera Cup Media Day. Lunch break now. How's the day been so far?
Honestly, really tricky so far. The weather's just been a complete nightmare. It's 1 minute it's wet, the next minute it starts to dry again, then it goes back to rain. So it's been really tricky for the mechanics turning the car around all the time. But it's still decent mileage though, because it could do this at the first round, so it's all good.
Yeah, very much so. It's good getting some track time because there's limited testing these days. But is it more tricky on a day like today where the weather's not one thing or the other compared to if it was just completely wet?
Oh, definitely, yeah. If it just stays wet all day, it's easy. Everyone stays on the same tyres, the same setup, and it's just a lot more straightforward. So it is tricky for everyone, really.
Yeah, and I suppose it's even more difficult with the fact because it's not particularly warm today and the sun's not out at all. It's very cloudy. The track's not drying very quickly, is it?
No, it's so cold out there, and yeah, it's really tricky getting heat into the tyres as well. So the track's just, the moment's just staying in a kind of slimy no man's land in between wet and dry, which is really tricky for everyone, but it's the same for everyone, so you just have to deal with it and crack on.
Yeah, of course, obviously a challenge, but you do get to drive one of these amazing Porsche Carrera Cup cars. What a privilege. What's it like to drive?
Yeah, they're phenomenal bits of kit to drive. There's so much power. What makes them tricky in these conditions, though, is the lack of driver aids. So there's no ABS, no traction control. So they're tricky beasts to keep under control, but yeah, they're a lot of fun.
And especially at a circuit like Donington Park. What's it like to drive in the wet? Especially, I imagine, the Carrera curves down over there must be pretty exciting.
It is, but strangely, it's actually the slower corners which are harder. Places like the chicane, because you've got the curbs on the inside that are very slippery. So if you touch those, it's very easy to sort of spin and lose control of the car. Whereas the high-speed stuff, in a way, is kind of more straightforward.
Yeah, but I suppose it must be important through the chicane to maximise the use of the curbs, to use all of the track available and probably a little bit more.
Yes, right. You have to use plenty of curb there. The only question mark on race weekend, obviously, is track limits. So you might not be allowed to then, but on days like today, you kind of need to, just in case they do allow us to.
Yeah. So I'm sure when we do get to that first weekend back here at Donington, track limits, it's always a talking point. But you must be really looking forward to that first weekend. What's the aim?
To be honest, it's hard to say because there's loads of new drivers in the field this year. So in terms of pecking order, I think it's really, especially conditions like today as well, it's really hard to get a read on where everyone is. But I'm in the Pro-Am competition, so really the aim is to try and win the Pro-Am race and hopefully just get high up the order as possible.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Best of luck for that first weekend.
Right, thanks very much.